Good evening, Mr. Stoddard and Mr. Freeman. This is the contested race for the Municipal Light Board, and by lottery, Mr. Stoddard, you have been chosen to give your opening statement first.
Great, thank you.
You have 2 minutes.
Okay, my name's John Stoddard. I've been a member of the Hingham Light Board since the year 2000. I've lived in Hingham all my life. The light company is very important to me. Before I was elected to the light board, I worked as a lineman for 6 years. So I know both sides of the management and the day-to-day operations, which I think I provide a valuable perspective to the management of the company. I've lived through the good times and bad times. The Hingham Light Company right now is the strongest it's ever been, and the morale of the employees is extreme high. And I'd like to keep it that way. My own electrical contracting business that I have in Hingham, I go through Hingham houses every day, week after week. I understand the challenges of most people that are facing due to the economy. I know what they think about Hingham Light. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Freeman.
Thank you. My name is Roger Freeman. I'm here to ask for your support and vote in the upcoming election. As Hingham residents for the past decade, my wife and I have really enjoyed the great benefits of living in this town. And I appreciate the service of everyone who's out here tonight, the lead voters for holding this event, and all the citizens that are volunteering their time to make this community a better place to live. And so I want to offer my experience as an energy lawyer and developer to try to make Hingham Light keep service levels high and keep costs reasonable, while at the same time adapting to the challenges and opportunities that we face in a dramatically evolving energy market in the 21st century. If elected, I'll focus my efforts on accelerating the adoption of more energy efficiency, more renewable energy, and more energy information and management to enable the citizens of the town and the Hingham Light Department to have more control over their energy usage and be better informed about the way they make energy decisions. I'll also work to increase cooperation and coordination with the town, recognizing that while the Light Department is a separate entity, we're all part of the same community, and it's critically important that we work together to plan for the future. And I think that's strengthened whether we're putting streetlights underground or whether we're putting more energy efficiency in the town's facilities and schools. I think we do it best when we work together. In the past, the Hingham Light has done a good job of meeting the electricity needs of the town. You flip the switch and the lights have gone on. But increased development and hotter summers are leading to dramatic growth in electricity demand in our community. In the past 3 years, demand is up 30%. And what this means is we have to rethink the way, the old ways of expanding the system and buying more energy in order to meet this rapidly growing demand. I think we need to focus more on energy innovation, in information, in technology, and in policy in order to address the needs of the 21st century. And I hope to bring my experience as a lawyer and energy developer to help Hingham Light do that. Thank you very much.
Thank you. We'll now begin with our questions. And Mr. Stoddard, you were chosen in the lottery to begin to answer the first question. Our first question, as a voting member of the Light Board, what would your position be regarding the purchase of green energy? Presuming that green energy costs more, how much of a premium would you ask ratepayers to accept in their rates in order to provide green energy? And the third part, and how much of the energy portfolio would you want to see in green energy?
I think green energy is a great idea. If we had to pay a little more for it, I don't think that would be a problem. Right now we're at 12% with green energy. We are looking into another wind farm with 10 turbines in Maine, and then also looking at a good-sized solar project. So I think we're well on our way to expanding our portfolio.
Mr. Stoddard. Mr. Freeman, I apologize.
Thank you. Very quickly, I reject the premise that renewable energy always has to cost more or green energy has to cost more. The fact is, given the rapidly evolving markets, the cost of solar power, for example, has fallen 50% in the last 2 years. The cost of wind energy is coming down. And so with the incentives that are in place at the federal level and at the state level, it's possible now in other towns that aren't outside of Hingham to have solar power put on your roof at no cost and at a price you pay the utility that's less than the retail rate. So that type of energy innovation is a combination of policy and it's a combination of technology. And so I think we can do a lot more. I think Hingham is taking steps in the right direction. and I would work to continue that and increase that going forward. I'd like to see more done in Hingham, because the dollars that we spend here putting panels on the roof are dollars that stay here with the companies that work here and keeping money in our town. And I think that's something that we should really focus on.
Thank you. Mr. Freeman, how would you propose to keep electric rates down in the face of rising energy costs?
Well, again, I reject the premise of the question that we're necessarily facing rising energy costs. In fact, there's been a massive, evolution in our energy supply. There's what's called shale gas, and there's questions about whether or not it's going to destroy our environment. But the reality is, it's pushing energy prices down. So we actually have a great opportunity to see rates stay relatively level for the next, for the foreseeable future, really, when it comes to bringing more and more of this gas online. We can debate whether or not that's a good thing, and there may be environmental ramifications to that, and we have that debate in my household all the time. But the fact is, as we integrate more renewable energy supply into the market, it doesn't have to increase rates. And so I think through a combination of energy efficiency and demand management, smarter information systems, we can keep rates down. They don't have to go up to become more green. It's a false choice between being energy responsible or cost down and being environmentally responsible. They now go together, and that's part of the point that we're bringing here to the table.
Thank you. Mr. Stoddard.
Could you repeat that question?
I sure can. How would you propose to keep electric rates down in the face of rising energy costs?
I think we do a pretty good job now. We buy most of our power through E&E, which is Energy New England, and they get us about the best deals that we can. So I think we're in good shape with that.
Thank you. Our next question, Mr. Stoddard, we will begin with you. Is Hingham Light doing enough to encourage conservation, not only among its residential and business customers, but also in town-owned buildings and schools?
I don't know if any energy audits have been done in municipal buildings. I'm not sure of that. That's something we could definitely look into, and that's a big, probably a big number. What these people pay, for electricity. So it's definitely something that we can look into and maybe sharpen our pencils with that.
Mr. Freeman.
Hingham has a program where they provide energy audits both for residents and for businesses and also for town facilities. I believe they've done some energy audits for the town facilities, but energy audits without implementation aren't really worth what the paper they're written on. So our program in Hingham right now, you can get a rebate if you put in an energy efficiency, and it's a small rebate, and it'll be back to you on your bill as a credit. And one of the ideas I have is to flip that around and provide a rebate up front that's not a giveaway, but it's actually a way to pay for the cost of the equipment up front, and then those costs can be recovered over time through the rates. So it takes right now you can get a rebate that's collected over time in your bill as you work it out. What I'd like to see is you put the energy savings in, and then those savings pay for themselves. Your bill stays about the same, but you're paying for the cost of those energy improvements over time. And so that's one way that through policy we could really increase the amount of energy efficiency and conservation in town, and I'd strongly support doing something along those lines.
Thank you. We'll now move on to closing statements. Each of you do have a minute for the closing statements, and we will begin the closing statements with Mr. Freeman.
Thank you. Well, thank you all for coming and participating in this event. We all have a part to play in thinking about how we use energy going forward. We're really fortunate to have our own utility, and we control our energy future. Hingham Light can and should lead the way, and if elected, I'll bring a fresh perspective to the Light Department. I'll work to ensure the Light Plan is more proactive in adopting, implementing, and promoting energy efficiency, energy innovation, and clean energy options. I'll try to make Hingham Light more cooperative and a fully engaged partner with the town as we plan together for the future. You know, the Light Plant has been talking about and studying these issues for years and taking steps in the right direction, but now I believe the time is to take more action. As an energy developer, I've developed alternative energy projects, from solar and wind power to energy efficiency services. As an energy lawyer, I've negotiated contracts and represented clients before the regulatory bodies. As an entrepreneur and small business owner, I understand the importance of keeping rates down. And as a parent, I want my kids to be proud of the town they live in, and I want them to be proud of Hingham as a leader in clean energy performance. If elected, I'll bring these skills and experience to bear in seeking practical, forward-leading, and cost-responsible solutions to the challenges we face in the years ahead. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Mr. Stoddard?
In closing, I would like to say that I would like to keep the rates as low as possible. That'd be the first goal. I know that green energy is an important issue to the Light Board and to the Light Plant. I'm proud to say I've been personally responsible for helping Hingham Light for what it is today, and I will continue to do that. So please vote for me to keep me on the Light Board. Thank you very much.
Thank you, gentlemen.